In the cold of space, something huge was moving toward Earth, and it wasn't coming in peace. The night over the Pacific Ocean was calm. Waves moved slowly under the silver light of the moon. Fishermen in small boats worked quietly, unaware that far above them, beyond the sky, an invisible danger was already on its way. High above the planet, Earth's defense satellites scanned the darkness of space. One by one, their sensors began to beep. Inside Orbital Station Argus, Lieutenant Cara Mendoza looked at her screen and frowned. "Commander," she called out, her voice tight. "We've got a mass reading. No, wait, multiple masses. They just appeared." Commander Jiro Tanaka walked over, his boots echoing in the silent control room. He stared at the holographic display. Dozens of red dots were moving fast, too fast for civilian ships and too far from any known human vessel. "Check the transponder IDs," Tanaka ordered. Kara's fingers flew over the controls. The results flashed in green text. No ID. No. Signal. Unknown origin. Tanaka's jaw tightened. "Get me Central Command, now." Far below, in the secure war room under Geneva Command Center, Earth's leaders gathered. Some wore military uniforms, others wore expensive suits, but every face was pale. On the large screen in front of them, the unknown objects were already closer. Their course was clear, direct approach to Earth. General Marcus Hale, head of Earth Defense, spoke first. "They're not broadcasting any signals, no hails, no demands, yet. But look at their speed. They're not here to trade." President Amina Rahman folded her arms. "Are we certain this isn't one of ours? A black project? Some hidden fleet?" Hale shook his head. "Ma'am, I've seen our hidden projects. Nothing we have moves like this." Silence filled the room. Finally, Director Sloan of Intelligence leaned forward. "We've known this day would come. They're here early, but we're ready." The others looked at him. Sloan's calm tone was almost chilling. Out in space, the approaching ships began to change formation. At first, they looked like a loose cluster. Now they spread out, moving with purpose. Their hulls were black as night, almost invisible except when they passed in front of stars. The lead ship was enormous, longer than 5 city blocks, with spiked edges and strange glowing symbols across its surface. Behind it, smaller escort. Ships fanned out like hunting wolves. On board the alien flagship, the Vrakoth warlord Karth stared at his display. Through his translator, his voice echoed across the bridge. "Primitive world. Weak defenses. We will give them one chance to surrender. If they resist," he bared sharp teeth, "we erase them." Back on Earth, most of humanity still had no idea. People walked their dogs, ate dinner, scrolled through their screens. The news channels were silent. For now, but in hidden bases. Across the planet, the Vanguard Protocol was activated. Deep in the Nevada desert, massive hangar doors slid open. Beneath them, silver warships hummed with power, their sleek hulls designed for stealth and speed. In the Pacific Ocean, a section of the sea began to part as a colossal launch platform rose from beneath the waves. From it, a massive vessel emerged, its name painted in bold letters, Iron Dawn. Inside the Iron Dawn's command deck, Captain Elias Rourke stood at the center. Tall, with gray hair and eyes like cold steel, he looked at his crew. "You all know the rules," he said. "We don't shoot first, but if they make the first move, we make the last." The crew nodded. Meanwhile, the alien fleet finally sent its first signal. It was not a request. It was an order. A deep, distorted voice boomed across every major broadcast frequency on Earth. It spoke in a language no human knew, but somehow everyone understood. "People of Earth, you are now property of the Vrakoth Dominion. Lay down your weapons. Prepare for processing. Resistance will bring fire from the sky." Then the signal cut off. For a few moments, The world was frozen. In homes, offices, and streets, people stood still, staring at their screens. And then, panic began. In Geneva Command, President Rahman turned to General Hale. Options? Hale's voice was steady. We hold the line. If they want to fight, we give them one. Director Sloan's lips curled into a thin smile. It's time they learn we're not as weak as we look. Across the planet, coded orders were sent. Civilian communication networks went into emergency lockdown. Powerful energy shields, hidden for decades, powered up around key cities. From lunar bases to deep ocean silos, weapons came online. And still, the alien fleet came closer. Lieutenant. Cara Mendoza watched the red dots on her display grow larger. She swallowed hard. Commander, they'll be in high orbit in 7 minutes. Tanaka gave a single order. Activate Black Sky Protocol. Kara's hand trembled as she entered the command code. Above Earth, dozens of small satellites suddenly unfolded, revealing long metallic barrels. Hidden asteroid defense stations woke from decades of silence. The trap was being set. On the alien flagship, Warlord Karth's second-in-command spoke. They power weapons. They prepare to resist. Karth's voice was low and dangerous. Then we begin. Target their defenses. But before his gunners could lock on, a strange pulse washed over the alien fleet. For a moment, their systems flickered. Karth's eyes narrowed. What was that? His engineer growled. Unknown energy spike. Origin. Earth. In the Iron Dawn, Captain Rourke looked at the tactical screen. The alien formation had slowed. Good, he said softly. They're confused. He turned to his weapons officer. Ready the rail batteries. Keep the stealth field up. They can't know where the first shot comes from. His officer hesitated. Sir, orders from Central say we wait. Rourke's expression didn't change. We will. But deep in his eyes, there was something else. A promise. Above the dark side of the moon, more human warships moved silently into position. They had no lights, no comms, just the cold readiness of predators waiting for the signal. The alien fleet still thought it was hunting prey. They didn't know Earth had been preparing for this moment for nearly 50 years. And then, without warning, one of the alien scout ships broke formation and dove toward the atmosphere. Its engines flared bright blue as it pierced the clouds over the Pacific. Civilian witnesses on the coast screamed and pointed at the burning object streaking across the sky. It wasn't a meteor. It was alive and armed. In the Iron Dawn, alarms screamed. Rourke's eyes narrowed. That's their test. They want to see how fast we can respond. He turned to his XO. Well, let's give them an answer. The Iron Dawn's engines roared to life. The voice was calm, too calm for a threat that could burn the planet in minutes. The alien scout ship cut through Earth's upper atmosphere like a knife through water. Its dark hull shimmered with strange patterns, absorbing radar signals. Military tracking stations followed its every move, but it did not fire. It was testing Earth's defenses, watching, waiting. In the Geneva Command Center, alarms echoed. General Marcus Hale stood in front of the giant tactical display, his hands behind his back. Where's it headed? He asked. Trajectory. Puts it over the Pacific, moving toward the west coast of North America, replied an operations officer. President Rahman's eyes narrowed. They want to see how far they can go before we react. Director Sloan leaned forward, his voice low. They're not here to study us. They're here to intimidate us. In the Iron Dawn, Captain Elias Rourke watched the alien ship's path on his screen. Distance? He asked. 200 kilometers from our position. Still descending. Lock tracking lasers, Rourke ordered. The bridge lights dimmed as the targeting systems came online, silent and invisible. He wasn't going to fire, yet, but he wanted the alien pilot to know they were being watched. The alien scout dipped lower, scanning the ocean with strange beams of blue light. Its sensors tasted the salt in the water, the steel in ships, the heartbeat of the planet. In the alien language, the pilot reported to the flagship, "Primitive ocean, sparse defense. Recommend initial strike here." Warlord Karth's deep voice came back, "Hold. Let them see our strength before we erase them." The strength came minutes later. Every screen on Earth, TV, mobile, even billboards, suddenly went black. Then the same deep, distorted alien voice filled the air. "People of Earth, your leaders hide the truth from you. We are the Vrakoth Dominion. Your world is now ours. You will obey, or your cities will burn." The image that followed made blood run cold. A fleet, massive and endless, hung in orbit above Earth. The alien flagship dwarfed anything humans had ever built. Weapons lined its surface like the teeth of a predator. The broadcast ended as suddenly as it began. No demands for negotiation, no offers for peace, just a single choice: submission or destruction. In a quiet house on the edge of Tokyo, a little boy stared at the blank TV screen. His mother pulled him close, whispering, "It's okay." But her eyes betrayed the fear in her heart. In Paris, a crowd gathered in front of a massive public screen, murmuring in confusion. Some shouted for the government to surrender. Others demanded a fight. In New York, sirens began to wail. Back in Geneva, President Rahman looked at her military chiefs. "They've made their move. Now we make ours." General Hale's voice was like steel. "We still have the element of surprise. They don't know the full extent of our defenses," Sloan added, "and we don't want them to yet. Let them think they have the upper hand." Rahman nodded. "Then we'll play along. For now, open a channel to their leader." Minutes later, the first official communication between Earth and the Vrakoth began. On the giant screen in the command room, the image of Warlord Karth appeared. His skin was dark and ridged, his eyes cold and yellow, rows of razor-like. Teeth flashed when he spoke. "Earth leaders, you have one planetary rotation to decide: surrender and live as subjects, or resist and die as dust." President Rahman kept her expression calm. "Your message is clear. We will consider your terms." Karth's head tilted slightly. "You have one day. Do not waste it." The signal cut. As soon as the alien image vanished, Rahman turned to General Hale. "They think they've scared us. Good. Let them keep thinking that." Hale smirked. "And while they wait for our answer, we set the trap." The Iron Dawn received the coded order less than a minute later. Captain Rourke read the message and looked at his crew. "Central wants us to stay hidden until the signal. No premature strikes." Weapons Officer Marin grinned. "But once the signal comes?" Rourke's smile was thin. "Once it comes, we hit them so hard they'll forget their own names." Above the moon, in the silent dark, a second human fleet moved into formation. No lights, no signals. Just the patient shadows of hunters circling prey. The aliens thought they were holding all the cards. They had no idea Earth had been building its own deck for 50 years. In the alien flagship, Karth sat in his command chair, watching Earth's surface on the main screen. His second-in-command spoke quietly. "They seem to be preparing for talks." Karth's teeth gleamed. "Yes, and once they accept their fate, we will take their world without firing a shot." But somewhere deep in his alien instincts, a small warning flickered. Something about this planet didn't feel as weak as it looked. In the Iron Dawn, Captain Rourke watched the countdown clock on his console. 23 hours until the decision. But Rourke already knew what the decision would be. It wouldn't be surrender. It wouldn't be negotiation. It would be war. They thought Earth had no weapons in space, until the sky lit up. The world pretended to be silent. For the next few hours after the ultimatum, there were no more alien broadcasts. The Vrakoth fleet drifted in high orbit, black and still like vultures waiting for something to die. On the surface, cities buzzed with fear. Governments told people to stay calm, but streets were already half empty. Shops closed early. Families stayed indoors. The sky itself felt heavier. But under that silence, Earth was awake. More awake than it had been in decades. Inside Geneva Command Center, President Rahman sat at the head of the war table. Around her were generals, intelligence directors, and scientists. No one was talking about surrender anymore. General Hale pointed to the holographic display of the alien formation. They're holding position at 600 kilometers. Perfect range for Phase 1. Phase 1? President Rahman asked. Director Sloan smirked. We've been keeping something off the books. Even most of our military doesn't know. But it's time. In the Iron Dawn's command deck, Captain Elias Rourke received a coded transmission. It wasn't text. It was a single image, a black sun with 12 white stars around it. Rourke's eyes narrowed. Black Sun Protocol, after all these years. His XO looked confused. Sir, I thought that was just a myth. Rourke shook his head. No myth. It's the reason we're still alive right now. All across Earth's orbit, ordinary looking. Satellites began to change. Panels unfolded. False shells dropped away. What had looked like harmless weather satellites were suddenly revealed as weapons platforms, massive rotating cannons, missile racks, and beam emitters. On the far side of the moon, 3 enormous stations powered up. Each one was the size of a city block. They had one job: punch holes in anything that came too close to Earth. And in the asteroid belt, a hidden colony of mining stations came online. But they weren't mining anymore. They were aiming. The alien flagship's sensors picked up strange movements. Small objects, hundreds of them, shifting positions around Earth. The Vrakoth sensor chief frowned. Possible debris? Or weapons? Warlord Karth leaned forward in his seat. Weapons? This world has no space fleet. You told me this. The sensor chief hesitated. That is what our archives say. But my lord, the readings, a warning. Klaxon interrupted him. A long-range targeting beam had just locked onto the alien flagship. In the Iron Dawn, Rourke gave his crew a slow, deliberate nod. Let them see the lights, just the lights. One by one, massive energy weapons across. Earth's orbit powered up. Their barrels glowed faintly blue, pointing straight at the alien ships. From the ground, civilians saw dozens of streaks of light in the night sky, like a new constellation being born. On the alien bridge, Karth stood up. His second-in-command whispered, "They are armed. My lord, heavily armed." But this was only the beginning. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, pressure doors opened beneath 4 kilometers of water. Rising from the darkness came 2 enormous shapes, submersible carriers, each carrying 30 stealth strike craft. They broke the surface and launched their squadrons into the clouds. In the Nevada desert, the Earth itself split open as underground. Hangars opened. From them, massive black aircraft lifted into the air, aircraft designed for both atmosphere and space combat, and on the far side of Mars, a hidden human outpost activated a massive weapon known only as the Spear, a railgun, so large it could fire a projectile at near-light speed. Karth's expression darkened as he saw the changes in his tactical display. This was not the primitive prey he'd been promised. This was a predator that had been hiding its claws. He turned to his crew. Prepare the fleet. We will crush them before they reveal more. But before his ships could maneuver, a burst of static jammed their communications. On his screen, a human face appeared. It was Captain Elias Rourke. "Warlord Karth," Rourke said, his voice calm. "You came here thinking Earth was defenseless. You were wrong. Leave now, and you might. Live to tell the story." Karth bared his teeth. "You dare!" Rourke cut him off. We don't bluff. You have 1 hour. The transmission ended. On the Iron Dawn's bridge, the crew looked at Rourke. Weapons Officer Marin smirked. Sir, was that a bluff? Rourke's eyes stayed on the alien fleet. Not even close. On the alien flagship, Karth slammed his clawed fist into the arm of his chair. Signal the fleet. We attack now. The trap was set. The weapons were ready. The sky over Earth was about to burn. The first shot didn't just destroy a ship, it erased it from existence. The alien fleet moved first. Columns of dark, spear-shaped warships slid forward from their formation, engines burning bright. On the surface of Earth, cameras locked onto them, and millions of people watched in silence. No one knew if this was the end or the beginning. Inside Iron Dawn, Captain Elias Rourke stood with his hands behind his back, watching the tactical display. The enemy ships were closing, fast. Hold fire, he said calmly. Every crew member tensed. They had been ready for this moment for years, but no one expected it to come so soon. In orbit, human defense stations tracked their targets. Massive railguns rotated, missile bays opened, and energy capacitors began to hum. It was like dozens of sleeping giants slowly opening their eyes. The alien flagship, Vrakoth's Fang, fired first. A bright lance of plasma shot across the void, tearing through the empty space between the two fleets. It struck one of Earth's orbital platforms and exploded into nothing. The shields held, alien crew members stared at their screens in shock. They had never seen such strong planetary defense in a primitive system. Rourke's voice was steady. We return fire. Target their forward destroyer. The order traveled through the fleet, and a hidden station above the Pacific came, alive. From its barrel, a streak of pure white light shot forward, faster than the eye could follow. It didn't hit the alien destroyer, it deleted it. 1 second it was there, the next it was gone, reduced to a flash of dust and plasma. The blast was so fast that the rest of the alien fleet didn't react in time. On the alien bridge, Warlord Karth's jaw clenched. Impossible. What was that? Unknown weapon, my lord. It bypassed shields entirely. Karth's eyes narrowed. Then their weapons are not to be taken lightly. All ships, attack at full power. The battle erupted. From Earth's surface, streaks of fire lit the sky as missiles launched from hidden bases. In space, human strike craft darted between enemy formations, dropping mines and unleashing rapid laser fire. Alien warships tried to regroup, but communications were still jammed. Above the moon, a massive human railgun fired a solid tungsten slug the size of a truck. It punched through an alien cruiser like paper, sending it spinning into the void. Inside Iron Dawn, alarms flashed red. 3 alien plasma bolts slammed into their shields, shaking the ship. Shields holding at 84%, the tactical officer called. Rourke didn't flinch. Bring the spear online. On the far side of Mars, a weapon the size of a mountain adjusted its aim. The spear's magnetic rails began to glow as they built up unimaginable energy. Its target, the alien command. Ship. Karth's crew saw it too late. Sensors screamed warnings, but by then, a silver streak was already crossing the void. The spear's projectile hit the alien battleship midsection, piercing it from front to back. The explosion was silent in space, but the flash was blinding. Half the ship broke apart instantly. The other half drifted, powerless. For the first time, the Vrakoth fleet hesitated. They had come to crush a weak world. Instead, they were watching their own numbers vanish. On Earth, millions cheered. In space, the vanguard prepared for the next move. Rourke's voice cut through the noise. Push them back. Show them Earth's teeth. The aliens thought they could take the planet in a day. Now they weren't sure they could survive the next hour. They didn't know they were already standing in the kill zone. The alien fleet was in chaos. Half their forward line was gone, and their flagship was crippled. But Warlord Karth wasn't ready to retreat. He believed the humans' weapons had limits. If he could push through the storm, Earth would still fall. Inside the alien command ship, officers scrambled to restore comms. Karth barked orders. "Push toward the planet! Ignore their flanking ships! Go for the heart!" On Iron Dawn, Captain Rourke watched their movements closely. "They're doing exactly what we want," he said. His XO frowned. "Sir, they're heading right for our orbital defense line." Rourke nodded. "And in 10 minutes, they'll be in range of the net." All around Earth, a hidden defense system was waiting. Not the railguns, not the satellites. Something else. The Aegis net. Hundreds of stealth drones, invisible to sensors, floated in deep orbit. Each carried advanced warheads and high-powered disruptors. They had been drifting for months, pretending to be harmless debris. Now they were quietly moving into position, forming a giant invisible cage. Karth's fleet surged forward, destroying 2 more human satellites. The aliens believed they were breaking the defense. They didn't notice they were being surrounded. On Earth's surface, a young defense tech at Geneva Command stared at her screen. "Sir, they're right in the middle of the pattern." "General." Hale smiled grimly. "Lock the net." In orbit, tiny blue lights blinked in the darkness, confirmation signals from every drone. On the Iron Dawn, Rourke gave the order. Close the trap. The Aegis net came alive. Hundreds of drones lit up at once, releasing beams of focused energy that tangled the alien ship's shields. Missiles from every direction poured in. Alien captains shouted for evasive maneuvers, but they were trapped. The net blocked every safe escape path. One alien frigate tried to break upward. 3 drones locked on, firing rail slugs that tore through its engines. Another destroyer attempted to dive toward the planet, but a hidden sea-based launcher shot it from below, turning it into a cloud of burning metal. On Karth's bridge, panic finally broke through the discipline. "My lord! They are everywhere! Every vector is blocked!" Karth slammed his clawed fist into the console. "Then burn through them! Burn everything!" But the more they fired, the more the humans closed in. Strike craft darted through the chaos, planting explosives on alien hulls. From the moon's surface, long-range missiles curved through space, finding their targets with precision. Within minutes, 4 more alien ships were gone. The fleet's formation collapsed. The Vrakoth were no longer an invasion force. They were prey. On Iron Dawn, Rourke's voice was ice-cold. "Keep pressure on them. Don't let a single one escape." His XO hesitated. "Sir, all of them?" Rourke's eyes stayed locked on the display. "They came here to erase us. We return. The favor." In the silence of space, the trap was closing tighter. And for the first time, the aliens knew they might never leave this system alive. Sometimes you don't win by firepower, you win by breaking their mind. The battle slowed, not because the humans ran out of weapons, but because Captain Rourke ordered it. The trap was still holding the alien fleet, but now the humans stopped their relentless strikes. The silence felt heavier than the gunfire. On the alien bridge, Warlord Karth growled in confusion. "Why have they stopped? Are they out of ammunition?" One of his officers shook their head. "No, my lord. Their weapons are still armed. They are just watching us." Karth looked at the human formation on the screen. The Earth fleet hung in space like a pack of predators, surrounding a wounded animal. They didn't rush to finish the kill. They wanted him to feel it. Inside Iron Dawn, Rourke stood calm. "Begin Phase 2, he said. The communications team activated a special channel. It wasn't the standard radio. It was a direct broadcast into the alien fleet's internal comms, a signal they couldn't block. Static cleared, and a human voice echoed through every alien ship. It was deep, slow and cold. You came to take our world. You thought we were prey. Look around you. Your flagship burns. Your warriors are dead. The only reason you are still alive is because we allow it. On every alien vessel, the crew froze. Some looked around nervously, others stared at their captain. The humans didn't just have weapons, they had control. The voice continued. You have one chance. Power down your ships. Surrender, or we'll erase you from existence, one by one. Karth bared his teeth. They dare, he began, but stopped when he noticed his crew's eyes. For the first time, they looked unsure. These warriors had never doubted him before. Now, they doubted victory. Then the humans showed their final trick. Around the alien fleet, dozens of stealth drones powered on again. This time, transmitting holographic projections into the void. The images were clear. Alien ships destroyed in gruesome detail, each explosion recorded from multiple angles. Every alien could now see the fate that waited for them. And then, the most chilling part, the projections shifted to show their own ship, with a targeting lock flashing over it. On one alien frigate, a junior officer whispered, "They've already chosen who dies next." Fear spread like a disease. Karth tried to rally them. "We are warriors. Fight!" But his voice didn't carry the same fire. He knew the truth. These humans had more than guns. They had a plan to crush the spirit before crushing the body. On Iron Dawn, Rourke's XO leaned in. "They're breaking, sir. Should we move to final phase?" Rourke's eyes stayed cold. "No. Let them break themselves. The mind will surrender before the body does." The trap was still in place. But now it wasn't just the alien fleet's engines that were trapped. It was their will. When pride is all you have left, it can burn hotter than fear. The alien fleet was silent. No new orders. No advance. They were surrounded, trapped, and their morale was cracking. But Warlord Karth's pride refused to die. On his bridge, he stared at the holographic display of Earth and its defending fleet. His claws gripped the railing until the metal bent. "They think they have won," he growled. "They think I will kneel. They are wrong." A trembling officer spoke up. "My lord, surrender may be the only way to save our warriors." Karth's glare froze him mid-sentence. "Signal the remaining cruisers," Karth ordered. "Prepare for the spear run." The officer blinked. "My lord, the spear run? That is suicide." "Exactly," Karth said. "If we die striking the heart." Inside Iron Dawn, sensors lit up. The alien fleet suddenly changed formation. 3. Heavy cruisers moved forward in a tight wedge, smaller ships falling in behind. They were heading straight for the human flagship. Rourke's XO swore. "They're going for us." Rourke's expression didn't change. "Let them come." The wedge formation accelerated, burning engines so hot they left glowing trails in the void. Alien gunners charged their weapons to maximum, even overloading some systems. They weren't planning to return home. This was a death strike. From orbit, the humans countered with missile salvos, but the alien cruisers plowed through the explosions, shields flaring, armor burning. One alien frigate was torn apart mid-run, but the rest kept pushing forward, in. The human fleet, the tension spiked. If even one cruiser broke through the defense screen, it could ram Iron Dawn and cripple Earth's command ship. On Karth's bridge, the crew roared in unison, chanting their war cry. Fear was gone now, replaced by pure rage. They had no hope of winning, but they could still take their enemy's pride. Then, at the halfway mark, the humans sprung another surprise. From the darkness above the alien formation, hidden drones powered. On, not dozens, hundreds. They weren't carrying warheads this time. They carried mines. In seconds, a wall of detonations filled space ahead of the alien charge. The first cruiser smashed through 3 mines before its shields collapsed. A rail slug from Iron Dawn's spinal cannon finished it, splitting the ship in half. The second, Cruiser veered to avoid the blasts, but doing so broke the tight wedge formation, leaving it exposed. Human interceptors swarmed, punching holes through its engines until it spun out of control. Only the third cruiser kept going. Its hull burned. Its weapons failed, but still it came, like a wounded beast determined to bite. On the Iron Dawn's deck, alarms rang as it closed the gap. Rourke waited until it was less than 10,000 kilometers away. Then he gave the calmest order of the battle. Fire the hammer. From beneath Iron Dawn, a single massive rail slug launched, at incredible speed. It crossed the distance in seconds, striking the alien cruiser dead center. The impact tore through the ship like paper, splitting it into glowing fragments that tumbled silently into the void. The desperate charge was over. The last roar of alien defiance had been silenced. On Karth's shattered flagship, he stood in the flickering light, watching the debris of his warriors drift away. His pride still burned, but now it burned alone. When there's nothing left to lose, some warriors fight harder than ever. The space around Earth was littered with wreckage. Alien ships burned silently, their twisted hulls drifting in the darkness. But a small cluster still held together. 4 destroyers and Karth's crippled flagship. They were outnumbered. They were outgunned. And they knew there was no escape. On the alien bridge, smoke and sparks filled the air. Karth stood tall, his armor scorched, his eyes locked on the human fleet. "We hold here," he said. "We fight until the last breath." A surviving officer stepped forward. "My lord, the humans offer surrender again. They say we will be treated fairly." Karth's voice was sharp. "Fairness is for the weak. We are warriors. We do not bow." Inside Iron Dawn, Rourke studied the last enemy ships. "They're going to make a stand," his XO said quietly. Rourke nodded. "Then we'll give them the fight they want, but on our terms." The humans moved into a tightening formation, boxing in the alien survivors. Missiles, rail slugs, and laser fire poured toward them, forcing the aliens to fire back desperately. The void lit up with explosions. One alien destroyer took a rail, slugged to its center, and split in 2. Another was crippled when a swarm of human interceptors ripped apart its engines. Still, the aliens fought. Every gun blazing, every shot meant to take at least one human ship with them. On Karth's flagship, power flickered. The weapons officer shouted, "Shields gone! Hull breach on deck 4!" Karth ignored it. "Lock!" Targeting on their command ship. "If we die, we die taking their leader." Rourke's comms officer called out, "Sir, they're focusing everything on us." Rourke's voice stayed level. "Then let them. All ships, crossfire pattern, keep their attention. Make them think we're the only target." The trap worked. While the aliens poured fire at Iron Dawn, 2 human destroyers slipped behind the flagship. At point-blank range, they unleashed a full barrage of plasma torpedoes. The first blast tore through the alien's main reactor. The second gutted its engines. The third silenced it. On the alien bridge, alarms screamed. Karth stumbled as the deck shook. Flames and smoke filled the air. The ship was dying. A junior warrior shouted, "My lord, we must abandon!" Karth cut him off. "Warriors, die with their ship." Rourke watched from the Iron Dawn's main screen as the alien flagship exploded in a silent, brilliant flash. The last stand was over. Only one crippled alien destroyer remained, its weapons gone, its engines dead. Rourke gave the order. "Stand! Down weapons! Take survivors! This war is finished!" The battlefield grew quiet. The invaders had come to take Earth. Now they drifted as prisoners, proof that humans were not prey. Victory is not just in the fight, it's in what comes after. The battle was over. The stars were calm again, but the wreckage of war floated in every direction. Earth's fleet moved slowly among the remains, rescuing survivors, human and alien alike. On Iron Dawn, Captain Rourke stood in the command room. A comms officer approached. "Sir, the alien survivors are ready for transfer to the negotiation deck. The surviving commander requests to meet you in person." Rourke gave a short nod. "Bring him." Minutes later, the doors slid open. Two Marines escorted an alien officer, tall, scarred, his armor damaged but his posture still proud. His name was Vareth, one of Karth's last lieutenants. Vareth's voice was deep and controlled. "My warlord is dead. My fleet is gone. What will you do with us?" Rourke studied him for a long moment. "That depends on you." They sat across a steel table in the negotiation chamber. Vareth's sharp eyes never looked away from Rourke. "You fought with skill and without mercy. My people will remember this." Rourke leaned forward. "Good. Remember it well. Because I will make this clear. If your kind ever comes to Earth again, you won't leave alive." Vareth's jaw tightened. "We sought only to expand our dominion." Rourke's tone hardened. "And we sought only to survive. Now you've seen what happens when you threaten humanity." The terms were simple. All surviving alien ships would be stripped of weapons. All crews would be sent back to their territory, under escort. And the coordinates of Earth would be marked in their navigation charts, not as a target, but as a warning. Vareth listened, then gave a single slow nod. "You have my word. No fleet will come here again. Not while I live." Later, as Vareth was led away, Rourke stood at the viewport. Beyond the glass, Earth hung in the black sky, blue and bright, the home they had fought for. His XO approached quietly. "Do you trust them to keep their word?" Rourke didn't turn. "No, that's why we'll be ready." The humans had won, but they knew the galaxy was bigger than this one battle. Somewhere, out there, other eyes were watching, and someday they might test humanity again. Sometimes the greatest weapon is the story you let the galaxy hear. The war was over. The alien fleet was gone, either destroyed or limping back to their own worlds. But Captain Rourke knew victory wasn't just about winning a battle. It was about making sure everyone knew what happened here. In the Iron Dawn's communications bay, engineers worked around the clock. They weren't just repairing systems. They were building something new. A broadcast powerful enough to reach every known star system. Rourke stepped in. "Is it ready?" The chief comms officer nodded. "One transmission, sir. Every receiver in the galaxy will hear it." Rourke took the microphone. The room went silent. His voice was steady, slow and heavy with meaning. "To all who hear this, this is Captain Rourke of Earth's Defense Fleet. 3 days ago, an invasion force entered our space. They came to take our home. They came armed with fleets and fire, and they were shattered." Across light years, alien worlds heard his words. On the home worlds of the defeated invaders, civilians stopped in the streets to listen. In the war councils of other species, leaders leaned forward. Rourke continued. "We are not conquerors. We will not hunt the weak. But if you come for us, if you threaten our people, know this. We will fight you with everything we have. We will break your ships. We will break your armies. And if we must, we will break you." As the message spread, visuals played alongside the voice, recordings of the battle, alien warships exploding, and finally, Earth itself, shining blue and untouchable. In distant systems, some rulers frowned, others smiled, and a few began rethinking their plans. Fear and respect traveled faster than any ship. Back on the bridge of Iron Dawn, Rourke watched the stars. His XO stood beside him. "You think they'll listen?" Rourke gave a small smile. "They don't have to listen. They just have to remember." And somewhere far away, the message reached ears that had never heard of humans before. Some heard a warning, some heard a challenge, and some heard the start of a legend.